Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hey, so Judah is right here trying to get the tripod. He was supposed to still be taking a nap, but that didn't happen. Say hi. Hey. He's gonna be 7 months old tomorrow on the 16th, August 16th. He'll be 7 months old. So weird to think I have a 7-month-old. It's crazy. Time really does fly. Are you having fun? Okay, so if you're wondering what this is on his chin, look up what that is on his chin. Last month, he had an abscess that he had to get drained. So he had an incision and drainage on his chin. And so it's just a little scar. Anytime that he rubs it or he touches it, it just turns red all over again, but there's nothing wrong with his chin. He learned to clap today. Say, yay! Yay! And clap. Clap, clap, clap. You want to jump? Okay, so this intro is already super duper long, and if you're wondering why I'm like all done up right now, it's because this is gonna be like a sit down story time type video, and it's gonna be like a little deep and a little, I might cry in it. I'm gonna be pretty emotional, so I figured if you're gonna watch this video, I might as well be visually appealing to you to watch it. So that is why I'm all done up. Anyways, today's video is going to be my breastfeeding journey and why I had to stop nursing him. So like I said a while ago, he is about to be 7 months old, and I breastfed and like I'm more exclusively pumped the first 7 weeks of his life, but I did breastfeed a little bit. This is probably going to be a long one. I'm going to try and edit down what I can of it, but I don't want to leave out any details because I feel like they're important. And my breastfeeding journey, the reason why I had to stop, to me is a little odd. I had never heard of it before, so I figured, you know, I would put my story out there. I've actually seen a couple of videos like this going around, and I haven't watched any of them. I don't know what their reasons were for having to stop breastfeeding or if they just wanted to stop or whatever, but mine was more medical than anything as to why I had to stop nursing. So grab a snack, get you a Dr. Pepper or a glass of wine or something, and let's jump right on into this. I'm gonna see if he will play by himself. He probably won't. He's super duper clingy today. I think his top teeth are about to pop through. So let's buckle our seatbelts and get started. Okay, so before we actually get into the video and into all of the details, I just want to put this out there. It's kind of like a little warning. If you're a man, you probably won't want to watch this. I'm going to be talking about some pretty disgusting things. I'm gonna be saying words like nipple and boob and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're a man, you probably don't want to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one. And also another little thing here, I am on the Fed is Best train. If you breastfeed, more power to you. I am so freaking happy for you. I wish I could. I am so happy for you. It's amazing. I know that it is one of the hardest things out there that moms go through, especially like brand new moms when it's your first baby and stuff. I know that it is the hardest thing. And if you are able to breastfeed for any amount of time, whether it's a day, an hour, a year, a couple months, like, that's amazing. And I am so happy and so thrilled for you. And if you bottle feed, hey, I'm right there with you. I bottle feed him. He it thrives just as well as if he were on breast milk. So I am on the Fed as best. One is not better than the other. Can we just throw that out there, that the mom shaming has got to stop when it comes to breast milk versus formula. It has got to stop. Yeah, you clap for mama because she's speaking some truth, huh, baby? Anyways, it's got to stop. If I see any mom shaming, I'm gonna call you out, okay? And if there's any mom shaming or any negativity in my comment section, you're getting blocked just as fast as you put that comment on there. You're gone, okay? Because I don't stand for that. I do not stand for mom shamers. I have been mom shamed so freaking much by people who don't know this story I'm about to tell you, asking, why don't you breastfeed? Did you even try? Oh, you poor thing. No. I do not stand for mom shaming. That is one thing about me that I am so freaking passionate about coming against mom shamers, because y'all suck, okay? Let's just put that out there. If you mom shame, you're a terrible human being and you need to check yourself, all right? Okay. Now, let's get into this video. You don't know the struggles that a new mom has been through, and you don't know if maybe she just didn't want to breastfeed, and that's fine. That's her body, her baby, her decision, okay? So just stop with the mom shaming. Just freaking stop with the mom shaming. Like, we already go through so much freaking guilt as it is, second guessing ourselves for every little thing that we do for our kids. We do not need mom shamers to make us second guess ourselves any more than we already do. Okay, so mine and Judah's breastfeeding journey starts way before he was even born. Right when I found out that I was pregnant with him, I immediately knew that I wanted to breastfeed. One, we were broke college students. My husband was in Bible school, and the school that he was at didn't accept financial aid, so we paid for everything out of pocket, his tuition, his books, everything. So we did not have extra money lying around to formula feed, even if that was something I wanted to do. But I already knew I wanted to breastfeed because it's free. It's like the most natural way to feed your baby, and like I wanted the unbreakable bond that it gives you between you and your child. When Judah was born, I'm going to dive a little bit into his birth story here because it plays a part in our breastfeeding journey. We were transferred to a hospital from a birth center. He had what's called hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy, and all that it is a brain injury from lack of blood flow and oxygen to the brain from the cord being wrapped around his neck twice. The only sign of life in his 9-pound, 3-ounce body was a heartbeat. He was not breathing. He was dark purple. He had the cord around his neck twice, like I said. He was completely limp, and one of the last things I remember hearing before he was out of the room and into the NICU was, we need a crash cart. So I am automatically thinking that my baby is dead. So it took 2.5 hours to get him stabilized from the time that he was born, and it took us 4 hours after he was born to even know that he was alive. The whole point of me even saying any of this was, after he was born, I didn't get the immediate skin to skin that I wanted, and I didn't get the opportunity to breastfeed right after he was born like I wanted to. I had to wait 5 days before he was able to nurse. But the next day after he was born, I immediately started pumping, and my milk supply came in very, very quickly. And it was really exciting. I was like, I'm gonna be able to do this. I'm gonna be able to do this for my baby. I love him clapping. You're so cute. Anyways, I was overjoyed that my milk was coming in as fast as it did. And while he was in the NICU, I would pump right next to him and give them whatever I had pumped for him to have, because I didn't want him on formula at all. I did not want him formula fed. So I gave them whatever I could pump. You're so cute. Whatever I produced, I gave them. And he was in the NICU for 10 days. And so as the days went on, my milk supply kept coming in, and it was coming in fast. And I was able to start a freezer stash at home, and I was able to take milk for him at the hospital. Once he was 5 days old, we were able to start feeds, and he latched on perfect from the get-go. It felt so natural for the both of us, and I just remember thinking, like, our labor and delivery went complete opposite of how I wanted it to. So this is one thing that I wanted that I'm gonna get. I'm gonna be able to breastfeed my baby, and I was super thrilled. I was overjoyed. My mentality had gone from whenever I was pregnant with him, like, this is the most natural way that I can feed my baby, that's why I want to breastfeed, to, oh hey, okay, now I have to breastfeed because our labor and delivery went opposite and I can control how I feed my kid. It went from my mentality going from a state of innocence and just feeding my baby to, I've got to be in control of this, I have to breastfeed. And it became a complete full-time job, and it became a chore for me, and it really messed with my mental state. It's like really bad. So we're in the NICU. They're like, wow, he's nursing great, you look like you've done this a million times, you know exactly what you're doing. Mind you, I did not take a single breastfeeding class or lactation class or anything. So for them to tell me, like, you look like you've done this a million times, was the biggest compliment I could have gotten right then, because I wanted to nurse so bad, and I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing, this is gonna be awesome, we're gonna be able to do this thing. So when we get home, you know, nursing's going okay. I didn't have the lactation consultants at the hospital at my disposal anymore, so I was on my own with this whole thing. It got really hard. Oh, there he goes. Oh crap, I need to shut this door. It's getting a little rougher because if you've never breastfed before, your nipples go through so much, and all of the friction that they go through causes them to be very sore. And a lot of people had told me, you've just got to get over that hurdle, you know, it's gonna hurt, because, you know, they're not used to going through all of this tugging and biting and whatever. They're not used to it, so they're gonna hurt. You've just got to get past that, and then it'll be smooth sailing and you'll be able to nurse your son. So I'm like, okay, cool, this is awesome, we're gonna be able to do this thing. Come here, Bubba. Come here. Come on. Come on. I was pumping around the clock and nursing at the same time, so it was making my supply go into overdrive, and I was not fully emptying out my breasts, and I was getting constant, come here, come here. I was getting constant milk blister after milk blister, and those things freaking hurt so bad. And I had got cracked nipples. My nipples were super sore. It started to get super painful, so I was like, okay, I'm fine with pumping and feeding as long as I breastfeed every once in a while, just to keep that bond between me and Judah. So I started to exclusively pump and feed because it was just so much pain. I would nurse like every other feed, I would nurse, but in between nursing I would give him a bottle, so that way I could just get, you know, some like relief from my nipples. It hurt so bad that I couldn't do it for every feed. Like, it was awful. So when he was about 4 weeks old, I think it was, I went to an ENT and had him checked for a tongue and lip tie, and he had both. So I expressed to the doctor, like, look, I want to nurse him so bad, I can't even stand it. I don't want to have to pump and feed. I want to be able to exclusively breastfeed. And, you know, the doctor told me, like, I'm gonna have to, like, cut him, there's gonna be blood, he's gonna scream, it's gonna be really sad. Are you sure you really want this? Hey, it's like, are you sure that you really want to nurse? Because it might not really even change anything. And I was like, yes, I need you to cut his lip and tongue tie because I need to breastfeed. And he said, okay, if you weren't so adamant about it, I wouldn't even do it because his aren't even really even that bad. I was like, okay, well, let's do it anyway. So it was the saddest thing. Really? It was the saddest thing. There was so much blood. He was crying so hard that he was tomato red but wasn't making any sound. Like, it was so sad, and I was like, this better work, because I did not want to have to put him through that for nothing, you know. So we did like the exercises you're supposed to do with stretching it out afterwards, and immediately after they were cut, it didn't hurt to nurse him. And I was like, yes, that's all it was. Praise the Lord. All it was a lip and tongue tie. I didn't do it for nothing. As the days went on, it got worse again, and it felt like it did, and it was just so painful, and it was from just the friction that they were going through that I wasn't used to. So by the time he was 5 weeks old, I met with a lactation consultant to see if maybe it was his latch, and then he decided to perform exactly how he's supposed to, and they were like, I don't even know why you came in here. You're doing everything right. His latch looked really good. He ate 4.5 ounces from you on one side. They were like, and he took himself off like he was full, and they were like, you literally just did everything right. You look like you've done this a million times. Well, I like to think that I've got a pretty high pain tolerance because I dealt with the worst back labor with him. He was 9 pounds, 3 ounces. So he was really big. The worst part of giving birth to him was not pushing him out. That actually kind of felt good because of how bad my back pain was. It gave me a little bit of relief to push him out. But the worst part of giving birth was the afterbirth pains, like the uterine massage and all of that crap. Like, I will have a million 9-pound babies if I never have to go through that pain again. Ugh. So I thought, I'm being such a weenie, like, this doesn't feel as bad as the afterbirth pains. So it's funny because every time I like hurt myself now, I'm like, that wasn't worse than afterbirth. I can deal with that. And like the pain immediately goes away and I can handle it all. So I was like, I am being such a weenie because this doesn't hurt worse than the afterbirth pains. So when I had met with that lactation consultant, it was a Tuesday. So the following Sunday, it was the Tuesday that he turned 5 weeks old. So the following Sunday, right before he was going to turn 6 weeks old on that Tuesday, I went to latch him on to my right side. I remember this clear as day. Gosh, I can like feel the pain with what I'm about to talk about. Oh God. So I remember this clearly. I had my breast friend pillow on. I was watching Netflix. I think I was watching Criminal Minds. I don't remember that detail of it, but I was watching Netflix. And Clinton hands Judah to me, and I latch him on, and I'm not even kidding. The second he latched on, I ripped him right back off because the pain was so intense. And I screamed bloody murder. I think Clinton was in the kitchen or something, and he comes around because I just started screaming, crying. I have never cried that hard in my life. You would have thought that someone just stabbed me in the boob. Like, it was so bad. You got the hiccups, Bubby? Clinton takes him, feeds him a bottle. The whole time that Clinton is bottle feeding him, I have my head buried in my hands into my like nursing pillow. And I am just screaming as loud as I possibly can, like the most intense tears I could ever cry. I was crying at that moment. I knew in that moment I don't need a nurse anymore. I can't put myself through this any longer. Like, this is becoming mentally and emotionally and physically draining, and I just physically can't do it anymore. So dead set on, I have to breastfeed, I have to breastfeed, I have to breastfeed. This is one thing that I can control. I didn't get the labor I wanted. I didn't get the delivery I wanted. I have to breastfeed for my own sanity. I have to do this. Little did I know that saying I need to be able to breastfeed for my own sanity, it ended up going against my sanity, and it ended up putting me in the worst possible postpartum depression that I think I could have ever been in. Not only because of how our labor and delivery went, but because of this issue now too, was like a huge factor in my postpartum depression. So while Clinton is giving him a bottle, I am just speaking so much death to myself in my head as I am like screaming, crying. And I'm sitting there saying things like, you're a worthless mom. Look at you. You can't even feed your kid. You literally just ripped your kid off of his food source. Like, you are worthless. You have no business even being his mom. He deserves so much better than you. You know what? There's so many women in your family that will step up and take on the mother role that he doesn't need you anymore. You don't need to live anymore. Like, we're getting deep down here, you guys. I hope y'all are still with me on this. Is a story that will end happy, I promise. But I was telling myself these things, and I was letting myself believe all of these lies, and I was like, Clinton will remarry, and hopefully he'll remarry someone that's way better of a mom than you could ever be, and Judah will be well taken care of by her. So I was letting myself believe all of these lies, and I was at the lowest of the low that I have ever felt in my life. I have never been one to think that I don't need to live anymore. I have lost friends to suicide. I have talked people out of suicide. That's one thing that I could never do, just because I've been on the end of it where, you know, you've lost people, and just thinking those things was enough for me to go into this deep, dark, downward spiral that I did. Like I said earlier, I knew in that moment I didn't need to nurse anymore, but I was so stubborn about it, and I was so adamant about nursing that I didn't listen to myself, and I kept on. And I was like, we'll just go back to pumping. I'm going to call a lactation consultant and see what's going on. So the next day I called a lactation consultant, got an appointment set up for the following Tuesday where he turned 6 weeks old. The day after the whole ripping him off incident, I'm in the shower and I was trying to relieve some engorgement, and I felt a lump. My brain automatically went to, oh my God, I've got breast cancer. I can't nurse my baby if I've got breast cancer, right? Like, I'm starting to think all these things, and hey, what's wrong, honey? Come here. Up. But then I started thinking more rationally, like, oh, this is just a clogged duct. It's not breast cancer. So I'm trying to rub it out, and it is so freaking sore. Oh my God, it hurts so bad. Like, in the space that it was really hard to relieve at all, because it was like, this is gonna get TMI. Like where my nipple is and where my areola was, it was like on the edge of my areola and just my boob. Like, it was half and half on areola and boob. And so it was right where the pump would be, like the flange on the pump would be. It was constantly like in a state of friction because of the pump, and I like was a slave to the pump now since we couldn't nurse and he had to be exclusively pumped and fed. It was just in like the worst spot imaginable. The next day, the Tuesday when he turned 6 weeks old, at our lactation appointment, I told them, hey, I've got this lump. It hurts really, really bad. I'm pretty sure that this is why I had to rip him off. I'm pretty sure it's just a clogged duct. Can you help me get it out? And they're like, yeah. I am not even kidding. We fed him on the left side. He did fine. It didn't hurt as bad. It still was a lot of pain, but it didn't hurt near as bad as the right side. I kid you not, they worked with me for 2 hours trying to get this thing to burst and to come out. I had someone constantly rubbing this spot out on my boob for 2 hours. They had 2 different people come in, and they were like, I can't get this loose. I've never met a duct that I couldn't get loose. And they were like, I really hope this doesn't turn into an abscess. If it does, you need to immediately go to the doctor. I didn't have a doctor because I completely cut ties with the birth center, and they were the ones that were supposed to do my postpartum care and his checkups and everything. I completely cut ties with them because I didn't trust them anymore. So I didn't have a doctor to even call if I even knew that this was an abscess or if I developed mastitis or anything. The Thursday after our lactation appointment, I had full-blown mastitis. I was pumping out pus on the right side. There was barely any milk coming out. It was mainly just pus that I was pumping. But I was still saving it, like, even though I knew in my head, like, I can't give this to my baby. So Thursday at like 4 o'clock, like right before the doctor's office closed, I called and was like, hey, I've got mastitis. I'm pretty sure I have an abscess as well. I am pumping out nothing but pus. Sorry, I had to go make a bottle. So, where was I? So, called the doctor. They're like, get here first thing in the morning. So I get there. I went ahead and had them do my 6-week postpartum checkup. All was well there except for the postpartum depression. So I got medication for that. And then I also got medication for mastitis. And the doctor looked at me and he said, whoa, you poor thing, like you're in a lot of pain, aren't you? Like, and I could look down and see this lump. Like, it was so scary. And I had never heard anything about this. I had looked up YouTube videos. I had looked up so many things on Google. Had no clue what I had. Like, couldn't find anything about an abscess this bad in the place that my abscess was. Hold on, honey, I'm almost done. Gotta shake it up some. So he comes in, he looks at me, he goes, you're in a ton of pain, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, are you going to keep nursing? And I said, yes. And he said, okay, because I don't think the antibiotics I'm going to give you are going to be able to kill this infection. So it's probably not going to go away and you're going to have to see an oncologist. He said, but since you want to keep nursing, I'm going to give you the breastfeeding safe one. I was like, okay, great. Then, you know, I had a meltdown in the doctor's office and he talked to me about postpartum depression and then was like, wow, you've got a severe case of postpartum depression and it sounds like you have postpartum PTSD, which I had never even heard of, but apparently it's a thing. And apparently I have it. The doctor said, if you don't feel better within 24 to 48 hours of being on this medication, call me and I will give you the number to an oncologist to go see. I'm like, okay. Didn't feel any better. I called him first thing that Monday morning and he gave me the number to an oncologist. They set up an appointment for the following Tuesday where he turned 7 weeks old. We go to this appointment and in the back of my mind, I knew that they were gonna make me stop. I get in there and the doctor, she was the sweetest thing. She's like, oh my gosh, she's like, I can feel your pain by looking at you. Like, I know that this hurts so bad. She touches it. She's like, yep, we're gonna have to drain this. She does an ultrasound on it and there was one duct that was like, I'm not even exaggerating, like 5,000 times the size it was supposed to be. And then there were little ducts all around it that were clogged as well that were draining into this one big inflamed duct, making that one so much worse. And so she was like, this is never going to get better because all of these ones around it are clogging and they only have one source to drain and it's into this larger duct that's inflamed. So it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So we've got to drain this right now. And she's like, I really hope we can get most of it out and that the rest will come out on its own to where you can avoid surgery. If not, then you're going to need surgery to get all of this out. The doctor that gave me like the medicine for mastitis told me all of the milk that you've pumped with pus in it, you have to dump it. So half of my milk supply half of my freezer stash I had to throw away. So that was really discouraging. I was holding on to a glimmer of hope for them to say like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. Like he won't notice a difference. But he was like, no, you cannot give your baby that milk. Back to the oncologist. You know, she does the incision and drainage right there. Got most of it out. She stuffed it all and put like a bandage and everything on me. Said, you could continue to nurse on the left side if you really, really wanted to. But I am urging you not to. So she basically begged me to stop nursing altogether. And I knew in my head, even when she said you could keep nursing on your left side if you really wanted to, I knew in my head I don't need to. I was so stubborn though, I still wanted to, but I was like, I don't need to. Like, this is getting emotionally exhausting and I can't keep doing this to myself. So she basically begged me to stop nursing and I told her right then and there that I would. And that was the day that he started formula. And that was the day that my postpartum depression hit such a low. And I felt 20 times worse about myself than I did the day that I had the meltdown and pulled him off of me. I knew I wasn't going to be okay. But I put on a smile and I put on a brave face for everyone around me because I didn't want anyone to worry. And my own husband didn't even know that I wasn't okay because I faked it so hard that I was fine. No one knew. You're so tired, honey. It's why you don't wake up early from naps, Bubba. But here I was, happy face on, you know, ready to conquer the world with my fake self, and, you know, but still in my head telling myself how worthless I am and how terrible of a mom I am, that I can't even feed my own son. That now we're going to go into severe debt because now I've got to pay for my son's food rather than it just being free from me. But luckily my mother-in-law has bought all of his formula because she's awesome like that. So that day was awful. That was the end of our breastfeeding journey. When the day that he turned 7 weeks old, that was the end of it. And it was so hard, and it still is so hard. Like, y'all don't understand. I would give my left leg to be able to nurse him and it be easy for us, but it was the hardest thing that I think I have ever gone through in my life. His whole birth and everything that we went through with that, and then the whole breastfeeding issues on top of that, like, having him has been by far the most rewarding thing I've ever had in my life because I have this perfect angel. But it's been the most trying and the most difficult times of my life as well. But I mean, I would do it all over again for him. All over. I would go through hell a million times for him. Yeah, I would. Because I love you. You're my baby. So now, Judah is 7 weeks old. Or 7 weeks old. You are not 7 weeks old. Judah is 7 months old by the time that y'all are seeing this video. As you can see, he has never skipped a meal. He is almost off the charts for weight, but he's still short and in like the 60th percentile for his height. But he is thriving so well, and I think one of my biggest concerns with having to stop breastfeeding was, you know, women's bodies are amazing. Like, your breast milk makes antibodies to keep your baby from being sick. That has got to be the coolest thing I have ever heard in my life. And so when I stopped nursing, I was like, great, my kid's gonna start getting sick now because he's not gonna get the antibodies from me to keep him healthy. And he's probably gonna start having brain issues, because that was a thing after he came home from the hospital. We were worried that he was gonna have seizures and stuff, and because he had seizures in the NICU. So I was like, great, now his brain isn't going to develop like it needs to, and his iron levels are going to be low. And I just started speaking all of this stuff to myself, and he has like never even had like a cold. The only time he's ever congested or anything is when he's teething. He is fully thriving. He's crawling. He can say mama, dada, duck, and up. He crawls to us, reaches up, and says up for us to pick him up. Like, he is wicked smart. And he learned to clap today. My whole point of this story was to put my odd pus-filled abscess nipple out there, because I had never heard of it before. So the whole point of this was to, one, put that out there, and two, to let you know that if you have to stop breastfeeding, or for whatever reason, if you have to stop, or if you just don't want to breastfeed and you want to formula feed from the get-go, like, that's okay. It's your choice, and you need to be 100% okay with your choice. And don't let anyone think that you're any less of a mom because of it, especially yourself. Don't let yourself tell you that you're worthless, because you're not. Yeah, you don't think mom is worthless, do ya? because that was the biggest lie I have ever told myself. There is no one on this earth that is going to be a better mom to him than me. I am a dang good mom, and by me bottle feeding does not make me any less of a mom. And we have gone through so many struggles, and we have come out on the other side of our struggles, that I think I deserve the right to say that I am a dang good mom, and there is no other woman on this earth that'll be a better mom to him than me, because he's my baby. Just like there's no one on this earth that's going to be a better mom to your kids than you. And so I just wanted to put this out there to let any other mom that is struggling with nursing or with having to switch to bottle feeding or whatever, to know that, one, you're not alone, and two, you are an outstanding, amazing mom, and there is no one on this earth that can do a better job than you. So yeah, I'm not going to say I hope you enjoyed this video, because it probably wasn't one that's super enjoyable, but I hope that you learned something out of this, and I hope that it maybe brought light to mom shaming and light to know that you're not alone in this journey. And if there's any questions that you have for my journey, because I'm honestly, there's probably some stuff that I even left out unintentionally that I'm going to be editing in this, being like, oh crap, I forgot to put this in there, or something like that. So if you have any questions about our journey, are you pooping on me? I felt something rumble in your diaper. Hashtag mom life. But if you have any questions or anything for me, I am an open book, like completely open book. Fire away, ask me whatever you need to. You can shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram handle somewhere on the screen. Shoot me a DM, we can chat. But yeah, just know you're not alone. You are doing an outstanding job as a mom. Don't ever feel low about yourself at all, and don't listen to mom shamers. Those are the 4 things in this video that I want y'all to take away, okay? Yeah. So anyways, Judah and I are gonna finish his bottle. We gotta go run some errands. And yeah, we'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all have a great day. Bye.